Honourable for Calgary Elbow.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. The NDP's handling of power purchase arrangements may be the single greatest scandal of this government's short tenure, and that is saying something. Their ham-fisted mismanagement of this file has cost Albertans over $1 billion, but yesterday the Minister of Environment and Parks said repeatedly that the resolution with NMAX will have no impact on taxpayers. This seems to defy logic. Maybe the Premier can help us out. To the Premier, can you confirm that this settlement will actually cost Albertans $0 in any way?
The Honourable Premier.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. As I indicated yesterday, we can confirm very clearly that the resolution reached with NMAX will have no impact on taxpayers. In addition, what I can also confirm that it allows us, as I said before, to accelerate the work that had already been underway between our government and many of our power producers to work together in the restructuring of our energy industry to provide greater stability, greater price certainty for consumers, and greater opportunity to attract investors and ultimately also to move towards renewable energy. So, Mr. Speaker, we're very pleased with the outcome.
Thank you, Honourable. Very supplementary.
Well, Mr. Speaker, it is simply not true that this agreement does not cost taxpayers, because it does. The reported transfer of carbon credits in exchange for an equivalent payment to NMAX appears to be essentially a net zero transaction at best, or maybe it's a massive payout at worst. We simply don't know. And it's also been reported that this dispute cost Albertans $70 million a month. That means over the 19 months of this needless lawsuit, Albertans are $1.3 billion poorer. Again to the Premier, what was the point of going to court and settling for nothing while the balancing pool, which is backstopped by Alberta taxpayers, bled $1.3 billion?
The Honourable Premier.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. As the member opposite knows, when we originally took this matter to court, it was because we were concerned about a clause that the previous government had negotiated inappropriately, we would suggest, behind closed doors with representatives from Enron at the time that hurt consumers, Mr. Speaker. We are glad that we have been able to come to a resolution with all of the various parties and to move forward with what was long overdue restructuring of our electricity system to, again, as I've said, provide certainty, to provide investor certainty, and to provide stability.
Thank you, Honourable Premier. Second supplemental.
Well, Mr. Speaker, perhaps the poor outcome for Albertans is the result of the legal counsel the NDP chose. Longtime BC New Democrat Joe Arve was hired to stick-handle the PPA lawsuit on behalf of Albertans. Now, if that name rings a bell, it's because the very same Joe Arve was just hired by BC Premier John Horgan to fight against the Kinder Morgan pipeline in court. To the Premier, will you call on your good friend Mr. Arve and ask him to do just as good a job for the BC NDP as he did for Albertans?
The Honourable Premier.
Well, you know, I think probably I will forego that particular option, but what I will do, Mr. Speaker, is I will talk about the incredible legal team that we have assembled on behalf of Albertans in our fight to get this pipeline built. In every legal skirmish that has occurred so far, we have stood up for Albertans. The ones we've got decisions so far, we've won. And since then, we've added the preeminent Peter Hogg to our task force, the Canadian leader in constitutional law. So, Mr. Speaker, we will continue to do what's best for Albertans. We will represent them in every forum, exactly what they expect the government, their government, to do for them, Mr. Speaker.